Mira Business FM, where business comes to talk.
It's Mira Business FM, it's the morning drives, and this is Building Blocks. It's a weekly look at startups here in the UAE. Now, AI is becoming part of everyday life, from chatbots answering questions to digital assistants helping us to work that little bit faster. But as tech grows more kind of conversational, researchers are warning that AI companionship can't replace real human relationships. And it's a story we've kind of had reinforced this week, or in the last week or two, from the central bank, who said, look, banking platforms shouldn't just be AI, there needs to be human interaction. So this is something that is spreading in popularity in an age where AI is spreading. It's an interesting conundrum, I think. There's a recent study from Monash University that found that so-called AI imaginary friends may offer temporary comfort, but they're no substitute for that genuine kind of human connection. Now, that conversation is particularly important when it comes to older adults who are among the most vulnerable to loneliness. And one Dubai-based startup is tackling that challenge by connecting elderly people with real companions, i.e. people, for conversation, for support and social engagement. So joining us this morning is Sawsan Shalabi, who is the founder of Rafeeq Connect, and it's a platform focused on providing companionship, I need to get this right, and meaningful human interaction for elderly people. So Sawsan, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you for coming to talk to us.
Thank you, Tim. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Before we I know that I was kind of rambling there for a while, but I want to set this properly so that we get this exactly right,
Sure.
because it is so important, I think. It's just the idea of thinking about other people, thinking about people that don't have the connections that most of us have day to day. But I was thinking about this last night before planning talking to you, was I haven't really thought about an AI companion yet, and I feel a little bit behind the times because it's not how I look at AI. I use it for a little bit of research here and there. So last night I'm online, and what an eye-opener it was as well. In the UAE, AI adoption is super high. We're advancing at a rate compared to the rest of the world, but there's quite a good bit faster. It's a very technologically aware place, of course. Lots of people have regular conversations with AI. I don't, I've got to be honest, that is just not me. But what was really new to me was the use of AI girlfriend applications in particular.
Oh, wow.
Right? Okay, I'm getting to the point, I promise. Which is growing significantly worldwide, particularly with younger people. It's a market that was valued at approximately $2.8 billion last year. 2024, it's going to reach $9.5 billion by 2028 by some metrics, okay? So I kind of wasn't surprised by that because AI is non-judgmental. Right? It's a space where you could just be comforting. Nobody judges you. I mean, we do that as people. But what I did think was this. Digital companions just aren't a solution to social isolation. And this is what your premise, I think, would be. People need people of any age, but particularly when we're that little bit older, because I guess what you're trying to get across is that AI can't make you a cup of tea and put an arm around your shoulders. Is that kind of behind this?
True. Okay,
Yeah.
so a lot to unfold here.
I know. Sorry, I was thinking about this last night, trying to crystallize it.
Sure. Okay.
The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, let's take one step backwards and start from the beginning. Let me give you some context what Rafeeq Connect is. And it's partially, you have mentioned that already, that it's a social companionship service aimed to connect older adults with trusted companions.
Yeah.
It's purely and genuine human connection. So if we're talking about AI replacing all this, it defeats the purpose of having a social companionship.
Yeah, exactly.
So speaking about AI, okay, disclaimer, I'm not against AI. I'm not against all this technological advancement that is happening and we're living in.
Yeah.
I feel it's a necessity and it's part of our lives now that we can't really not use. I mean, who is not compelled to use the speaking feature in ChatGPT? I mean, that's a nice thing to have.
It's easy.
Exactly, but would I pick that speaking woman, robot woman, over my friends or family? I mean, I wouldn't drop all the basic human needs and connections in my life, just to have this because it's compelling. And just like how you mentioned, Tim, would I just have this as part of my life and then let go of a human touch or like a hug or, these like what makes us humans? I mean, we just can't. Now, maybe this conversation could be totally different in 50, 60 years from now when we're talking about Gen Alpha being grandparents. This generation was born with screens in their hands. Sure. Their needs and their interests could definitely be different when they are grandparents. But who knows, maybe we will be so surprised and they would want to experience and live what their grandparents experienced and lived. So I would say if we're talking about now and the age that we're living in right now, we're targeting baby boomers. We're targeting early Gen X. I don't want them to hate me. They're not that old. But this generation that is considered old-fashioned, old school. We can't just force AI on them just because it is now like trendy.
Well, you're right, but AI is a very different thing. I don't know. I really struggled kind of preparing some questions for you, not because it's difficult to talk to you, not because there isn't a lot to say, but it's putting it into the right words because I can't find a way of really getting across human connection. I'm not the first to struggle with that. Obviously, we all do. Yeah. But AI cannot replace that. And I'm not sure that it ever will. I mean, just to be able to sit with a friend or somebody with you trust to talk something through is irreplaceable, isn't it?
Exactly. Like, for instance, if we're talking about making friends or having relationships at work, with your neighbors, at the gym, it might not be very easy for some people. And you can imagine how even more serious of an issue for elderlies, especially if they have retired, if they have, some of them, of course, I'm not saying the majority of them, they might lose the purpose or they might start,
No, I can see exactly what you mean. There's anything wrong with saying that. If you retire from, a career that's meant something to you, and very often career provides purpose, you no longer have that, you question purpose.
Exactly. And especially if we're talking about the context of UAE, the majority of the population, I would say there are people coming from different countries, nationalities, coming here because they followed their sons and daughters who are professionals, who are working here, or they chose to retire here. Yeah. But having these people living in a different context or different environment where they grew up in or away from their families, their childhood memories, it's already heavy and it holds an emotional toll as well. So this is something as well that we have to look at, especially if we're talking about fast-paced, very advanced culture and society such as the UAE. So having a social companionship service or platform should be a main pillar in society because this is not something to take lightly and it's something very important that could play a part in the mental well-being and health in general as well.
Well, exactly, but it's not just for the elderly people, I guess, that you're really targeting at. It's for the people of those elderly people as well, isn't it? It's the concern aspect. I guess it's something that is more often than not, unfortunately, not considered strongly enough in lots of societies. So it was a gap that you saw really that led you to think, right, because you quit your job to do this.
Yes, actually last week. Last Friday was my last day.
I know, your timing is impeccable.
Oh, yes.
It's turned out well for you. But obviously it's something you believe in it.
Yes, okay, so let me tell you what factors played a role in creating Rafeeq, because that would answer your question. So I would say multiple factors. One of them is, first of all, I'm passionate about this. I've always enjoyed the presence of people, elderlies in particular. This wisdom and knowledge and depth of conversations that you have and you witness with elderlies that you don't really see in day-to-day conversations. So this is something I feel that has to be in lives of everyone. Another factor, I would say, when we look at the medical realm or the healthcare sector, they might promote for companionship as part of their service, as part of the home care or nursing services, but not as a standalone service. So by definition, everyone who seeks that service is labeled as a patient. So that could be a very sensitive topic for elderlies or for people who are not facing any health concerns, and they just want this social companionship without being considered patients. And so I saw that there was a gap there, or there's an overlooked issue that needs to be focused on. One other factor as well is I would have to mention COVID. It was a very serious time and very challenging as well, that it affected all generations. I wouldn't say it affected only older adults, but you can imagine how hard it was on them, especially the ones who were living alone or their families could not visit them every day. So I would say the loneliness and isolation that we felt and the emotional distance that we felt during COVID, I realized that, okay, enough. This is an issue that has to be tackled, had to be like a standalone service that people would go to, so that it's not a problem anymore. So I would say this is how Rafeeq Connect was created, and I used all my structured corporate background and I would say humanitarian background as well, because earlier in my career, when I was living in Jordan, because I'm Jordanian, I used to work in the humanitarian field as well. So I've always noticed that and realized that I've been in touch with the humanitarian side of me. So that was just the perfect combination of everything to create Rafeeq Connect.
So you use all of your skills and your corporate background lends itself to, at least having the mentality to start a business. But you have to start this as a business. I mean,
exactly.
And you've started at a tough time. How does it work as a business? What's the plan that you put in place?
Okay, so the service is very simple and straightforward. Families reach out to us and they share with us information about their parents or grandparents and what kind of personality, their interests, their routine, and we customize the sessions based on what families' needs are. The sessions can be in person or virtually, and there is no one-size-fits-all kind of companionship. So whatever the parent or the families want for their elderly loved ones, we customize the sessions based on that. So for example, if a parent is very interested in doing light sports or crafty kind of like painting or doing like anything like planting or anything or board games, so it really depends on what the families want. Some of them, they just want calm, deep conversations. So it's a mix of everything.
It's so interesting to me because we look on the UAE as a young nation. It is a young nation, and traditionally it's been a younger demographic, I suppose, if you're outside looking in. But increasingly, it's a maturing nation. More people are coming here and people are having families and looking at retiring here. And there is more and more need for something like this. So you can understand that point of view. So it's essentially companion support for elderly relatives. And it could be as simple as, look, my mum is on her own a lot, for example, and it would be really nice just for somebody to spend some time because, I'm really busy all the time and I get there when I can, but, I'm aware that if I go traveling, that's the void it's filling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And most of the people who reach out to us are people our age who want this service for their parents.
Yeah.
They, this is how they start. They tell me, I work a lot. I'm away from home most of the time, and I worry about my mom or my dad a lot. So I need someone to just take them out, make them socialize with people, make them use their memory or their mind a bit, and just deal with other people. Because if you're isolated for a very long time, it really affects your your everything, mental well-being, health, and just consciousness, and
That's a really interesting point. It's this the idea of just stimulation, mental stimulation, is really important for anybody of any age, but certainly really important as you age, isn't it? I mean, that's simple medical fact.
Exactly. And people might say it's very easy, very they might not take the service as something important, but I really do research before the session. I try to make each session very enjoyable and interactive, and just like how you meet your friend. You don't always do the same things. You like to try new things or discuss new things. So that's exactly how I do with the elderlies when I meet with them as well.
So it's kind of encouraging friendship, isn't it?
Exactly.
Because these things kind of grow over time, and hopefully you can get to a point where I guess it's almost matchmaking in a way as well, but you match a companion to a person, and the hope is that it blossoms into a lot more than just, okay, I've got an hour with so-and-so at 2:00 on Tuesday afternoon to, we're going to go and have coffee at 5:00 on a Friday or whatever. There's a lot more to it.
Definitely. And it's actually a very good point, because it takes us to the point of how do we bring companions in. Of course, we don't have any restrictions or limitations. Anyone can apply. We welcome all nationalities and languages spoken, because at the end of the day, we are serving families from different backgrounds and languages. So we have to match the demand.
It's a really wide demographic of people.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, we are promising families peace of mind. We're promising them trustworthy companions, accountable, responsible, reliable. And in order to meet that promise, we have to be very selective in our process of selecting companions.
So how do you? I mean, there's a vetting process.
Definitely.
I understand that, but what kind of people do you look for? Is there like a checklist of the most important key characteristics? How does that work?
I would say that. So to give you some context, Tim, I come from almost recruiting background from back in the days when I was in corporate. So
Useful.
I'm using my recruiting skills like there's no tomorrow.
Okay.
So I trust my gut feeling, and definitely there is a checklist. And at some point you look at people who are empathetic, who actually are genuinely interested in doing the service because they want to be part of other people's lives. Some of them share very heartfelt stories of their childhood and how they had very meaningful time with their grandparents or elderly parents. And that's really nice. Some of them don't, but not necessarily that's a bad thing, but it can immediately tell you if this person is actually interested.
It gives you a
exactly
indication.
the click.
Yeah. Okay.
So definitely, yes, the vetting process is very thorough. And to add an extra layer of reassurance for families, we ask companions, the selected ones, to provide us with a police clearance certificate so that families can feel that their parents are left with very trustworthy companions.
Okay, so that's part of the compliance that you go through for licensing, I guess.
Not really. This is just for the peace of my
anyway.
mind. Yes.
Okay. No, I'm with you. It strikes me that, you've launched at a difficult time, but then, when's a good time to launch a business? So that's really not much of a comment. But it strikes me as it's a hard business to do, but it's an important business. But it's also, it's vocational, isn't it? This is something that you have to to really believe. This is not really, is it? It's not really about money.
It's not.
You're not going to
really
get rich doing this, are you?
No, not really.
No, I mean that in a complimentary way. I'm looking.
True.
That was a really ham-fisted way. I apologise for that. But
no, it's okay.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit like, the teaching on nursing professions. That's the best parallel I can draw in that, you do it because it's maybe what you were put here to do. Do you know what I mean?
True, but also there's
want to.
Yes, exactly, and actually there's something I need to point out because you reminded me, Tim, is that the service is not related to medical care or caregiving world because it involves too many layers and approvals and things that we don't want to be involved in.
Right.
But at the end of the day, this is not really what the gap that we want to fill, because it's not really a gap in societies in any country. These services do exist, but social companionship as a main service is missing, let's say.
So it's simply that you would find the person that you think is right to visit a particular person, and there is a fee involved for that.
Yes.
That covers the administrative fees, I suppose, and that's the way the business builds. And then what you hope is that something flourishes from that, and it becomes a useful service.
Exactly. So it's basically the fee is taken from the families, and it goes to the companion and to Rafeeq Connect's platform. So it's beneficial for everyone.
And the idea is to build, a sustainable business.
Definitely.
And you've got this kind of eye on social impacts as well.
Definitely, of course. So sustainability allows the impact to continue by building a responsible business model, so that we can keep supporting families and keep the service accessible to everyone.
Let's stay in touch and see how things go, because I've got a million more questions. For now, Sawsan Shalabi is the founder of Rafeeq Connect. It's been fascinating. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
This is Mira Business FM.